Now, a lot of people in America, some of the best and the brightest, some of the most passionate, some of the people most concerned with things that matter in this world, are the least involved in politics now, because our politics has become so toxic, and our politics has become dangerously superficial, and our politics has become not just corrupted in terms of the way our government functions, that we all know, but it has become corrupted psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, because we don't even embark on political conversations from the place of our wisdom. And so because we don't embark on the conversation itself from a place that is wise, we don't have the power to deal with all that corruption. And that is dangerous, because our government is corrupt today, and our democracy is eroding today. And life on Earth, if we do not change the trajectory of the way we are behaving as a human race, is possibly in peril over the next 50 and 100 years. So we can talk about the issues, but if we only talk about the issues, and I'm certainly prepared to do that, but if we only talk about what we call the political issues on the level of externals, then all we're doing is talking about the symptoms. We're not talking about the causes. All we're doing is watering the leaves of our democracy, but we're not watering our democracy at its roots. And what does that mean? Well, for those of us who wish to see someone other than Donald Trump be president in 2020, we should ask ourselves, could we defeat Donald Trump that way? Well, we could possibly defeat Trump that way. Some people think that what we need is just somebody tough enough, somebody fierce enough to bring him down. I think anybody who thinks it's as simple as that is very naive about the nature of this opponent. And if that's all we're successful in doing, then the real opponents of democracy, which are far larger than just President Trump, will be so back in 22, and they'll be so back in 24. Now, we have to do more than pull back from the cliff, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get away from the vicinity of the cliff. And the only way we can get away from the vicinity of the cliff is if we do something much more than bring Donald Trump down. That's such a high school concept. We got to bring him down. No, ladies and gentlemen, we got to do more than bring Trump down. We've got to bring America up. And the only way we can bring America up, the only way we can bring America up is if we rise up ourselves. We rise up out of this superficial, silly, childish, immature high school conversation that passes for politics today. And so I ask you, to grow wise with me. I ask you to go into the depth of your heart and talk with me about what is happening in our country, what is happening in the human race. We have to have a very deep conversation now about democracy. We have to have a very deep conversation about our economic system. We have to have a very deep conversation about capitalism. We have to have a very deep conversation about what it means, our relationship to each other, what should be our social contract between the citizens of a democracy and our government. What should be the contract? What should be the emotional and psychological connection between us and other nations? How do we reclaim a primal relationship of righteousness with the earth itself, and with our food, and with our ancestors, and with our descendants? So join with me, if you will, in a conversation about the deeper spiritual roots of our country. Because it's like when you go to therapy and you try to figure out what's happened in your childhood, you try to figure out your family history. Because when you go to therapy and you're trying to figure out your family history, you're trying to figure out where you fit in. That's why we study history, not just of the family, but of nations. That's why you can't just read a novel from the middle. You can't just pick up a novel and read it from the middle. You don't know who the characters are. You don't know what the plot is. And that's what has happened in America. We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot of this extraordinary narrative that is American history. We've lost the plot of this extraordinary narrative that is American democracy. And because we've lost a sense of its profundity, we've lost a sense of its meaning, we've lost a sense of its purpose, we've lost a sense of our responsibility to it, we've lost a sense of what it means to honor what our ancestors have done, we've lost a sense of responsibility to our descendants. And so what this campaign is a campaign for something deeper than just winning the presidency in 2020, although I personally think that only a conversation of depth will win this election in 2020.